What's good, YouTube? And welcome to the house. Not a reaction channel, but I have been waiting to read these Machina, Machiner, whatever you want to call these cards, that's fine. I've been waiting for them to release and see what they do. I am so excited to get into them, and I know it might not be the news you were looking forward to today, maybe even some iGas pirate reveals, but I am really excited to see this. I most recently was playing a small Machina engine in my fun Grinmaju deck, and it's been topping events more recently. Ryan Levine, I think, played Machinas in his Orcust version that topped, so it's not something to sleep on. I think this can come to the forefront of the meta if it's done right. I want to see if they make it something that Orcust kind of wobbles and stands on after they could potentially hit it in the future, or if it's its own standalone deck. I have great expectations. Let's just go ahead and get into this, starting with filler. I guess they just don't have something clever to say this time. We've got Machina Colonel. He's an Earth Machine, special summon / effect, level 10, 3000 / 2500, cannot be normal summoned or set, must be special summoned by a card effect. That's pretty standard for these guys. You can only use this card's name's first and second effects once per turn each. Quick effect, you can target one monster you control, destroy that target, and all monsters your opponent controls with equal or less attack. This is pretty good. So during your opponent's turn, if I'm reading this right, it's target any machine monster. So a Gizmak Orochi, a free resource that you can have, or even himself, and just board wipe your opponent during their turn while they try to do their Build-A-Board workshop. I like where this is headed. 2. If a face-up Earth Machine monster you control, except for Machine Colonel, is destroyed by battle or card effect, and this card is in your graveyard, you can special summon this card. Huh. If a face-up Earth Machine specifically, so that kind of blocks it off from Orcust. I like that. But it needs it to be destroyed by battle or card effect. It can be destroyed by your own card effect. Please don't tell me, like, True Draco is going to be the way to play this. We don't have Lithosagem for the True Kings. Yikes. So you, to get this on the field, need to destroy your own stuff. Maybe some of the new effects are going to incorporate that to be easier. So you're going to have to work to get him engraved, and you're going to have to work to summon him, because he can only be summoned by a card effect. I guess you could reborn him, or maybe there's going to be another revival effect. Alright, let's just go ahead and get into the next cards. I'm a little bit anxious here. We've got Machina Aerator, an Earth Machine effect, level 8, stats 1500 / 2600, so defensive, but it's level 8, so that's a new range for them that I do like. You can only use this card's name's first and second effects once per turn each. You can discard one other Machina monster from your hand, special summon this card from your hand. Huh, Fortress could do that from graveyard too, so it looks like you're not going to recycle this resource from the grave. During your opponent's turn, quick effect, you can target one machine monster you control, special summon a Machina monster with a different name and the same or lower level from your deck, and if you do, destroy the target. So it's weird. This is meant to stymie your opponent rather than resource tool yourself up. It's a quick effect, but opponent's turn only. It can use itself, but it's not really progressing your turn if you leave it on field. It just sits there and it hovers and hopes to deal with something that they put out, or interrupt them somehow with your own toolbox. I'm not liking where this is headed so far. My last hope here, because I know there's only 3 releases from the OCG thing and then some reprints. We've got Machina Radiator, an Earth Machine effect, level 8, lacking on the stats again, 1700 / 2400. You can only use this card's name's first and second effects once per turn each. You can discard one other Machina monster from your hand, special summon this card from your hand. I feel like cards they printed almost a decade ago have better conditions for this archetype. You can target one machine monster you control, special summon one Machina monster with a different name and an equal or lower level from your graveyard, and if you do, destroy the target. So a resource that you've already pitched to graveyard is what you're gaining access to. This doesn't seem great to me. I mean, yeah, you could destroy another Machina monster mayhap and get to like a rank 8 maybe for something you pitched earlier. Boy, is this not the feels good reveal that I expected. This is okay until you get to a summoning condition. You need to get him to grave. So far, there's nothing really searching him out there. So what are you going to do? Foolish Burial, or, you know, you can search him, I guess, with Gear Frame. They have an old 1800 searcher in the archetype. But Fortress is the one reviving itself from graveyard instead of relying on a different effect. I feel like the old engine is better than the new engine on my initial soak-in. Maybe I'm missing something, but you have to discard another Machina, not any machine, to special this. You have to discard another Machina for this, and this goes back to being almost generic, but not quite, because you need an Earth Machine monster to be destroyed. So they have locked down these cards in a harder to summon way than their predecessors, and made them, I feel, less impactful. This is not what I was looking forward to reading, if I'm quite honest. The air in my tires are deflated, although Machina Kernel didn't have any to start. This rarely happens. Usually when I'm looking forward to something, I see a ray of sunshine and hope, and I do see that in Kernel's first effect, but everywhere after, it relies on you to take extra steps and work harder than other decks and formats to go to a place that the older version of this deck was already doing, and mixing better with other things. I don't see the ray of sunshine here like I initially saw with Shadow reveals, and was hoping for something better. This feels subpar. This feels empty. This doesn't feel like what I wanted to see from the Machina archetype. When we read, actually, let me just pull it up, Machina Fortress, it's better than almost any reveal that they've given. It's more generic. It's just a better card in general. Like when we read this card reads, you can discard machine monsters whose levels equal 8 or more, then special summon this card from your hand or graveyard. If this card's destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, target one card your opponent controls, destroy it. So you can ram it by battle and then actually take care of something of theirs too. And before resolving an opponent's monster effect that targets this face-up card, look at their hand and discard a card so they can't targeting removal take care of it with a monster. I feel like Machina Fortress is somewhat of a better card in terms of its revival and advantage game state than anything they've created here. And he was released when? English sets? In 2010. Literally about a decade ago. And this card feels better to me than anything they're putting forth. And then, of course, their searcher, also, right now, the only searcher for the deck, is not getting compensated comparatively. Your opponent's turn. Why did they need these restrictions? Why did they need to settle it down when we are 10 years later? Why aren't they turning it up? Why aren't they building something that can compete with Salamangreat, another structure deck? Why aren't they making something that competes with even Domain Monarchs? It doesn't feel like these do that. I can't say that I'm happy. It's one of the few times where it feels like I was looking forward to something and I got slapped in the face. I am partial to this deck. Again, I was having fun with Fortress in my decks, and maybe I am by large missing something since this is an initial reaction. Maybe there's more to come that fixes this, but when you lead with a boss monster and 2 8s that could have been so much more and choke them out with restrictions, you choke them out by having to work harder than all these other releases that just get free summons, free advantage. You print that new broken Orcus monster that gives yourself a token, turns it into a tuner, and gets you an Armageddon Knight effect. Yet this is your cooked up plan for a structure deck in 2020. I can't say I saw this coming at all. Thank you guys so much for watching and maybe listening to me rant. I don't know if I am gonna upload this. I likely will. I mean, I want to keep all my notifications open for tomorrow, and I'm gonna keep my live take of this as one take as usual. But let me know what I missed. Let me know what you guys cook up, or if you're just as disappointed as me. If you don't see where this really was supposed to be going compared to what it was. I was expecting, like, better Fortress effects, like, maybe, like, saving everything that you have from targeting effects, and general targeting effects, and stuff like that. Target protection does matter a little bit in 2020, and I'm just not feeling this period. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed the conversation. If you're buying cards that aren't these, use my TCG player link in the description down below, costing you nothing extra and supporting the channel directly.